Welcome to Kayfabe Crimes, the podcast where wrestling is not an alibi. I'm Kim.
And I'm Aaron, and together we investigate the crimes committed on AEW programming. And today we're going to take a quick look at Collision, because Tony Khan slammed everything together for us, so it's going to be a quick release one after another. Before we start, we do need to go over a few ground rules so we're all under the same understanding. Just for new viewers, I know most of you've probably heard this like 12 times by now, but just in case somebody new viewing, we're going to go over the rules again. If a ref sees a crime during a match and doesn't give a DQ, it's not counted. So we're going to let the refs be the cops in the ring. They're going to say whether it's a crime or not. It's like the same with if an attack starts a match and the bell rings straight away. We're going to take that as the refs saying, okay, that's fine, let's carry on. That wasn't a crime.
Then the next rule is multi-person matches. We don't really count those. There is too much cheating going on behind the ref's back.
And so what we're talking about here is like during a tag team match or trios match or four person on a side match, 8-man tag, that's the one I was looking for. If you're jumping in and just punching or kicking somebody or doing a quick move on somebody, we're not going to count it. But then if you start swinging weapons or doing low blows or something like that, and you're involved in the match and the ref doesn't see it, we're going to start counting that as a crime. If you're not in the match,
then you don't get free reign on crime. We're going to count you, all right? It doesn't matter whose side you're on. If you're Don Callis is supposedly at the desk, not supposed to do anything, you're gonna get counted.
And a new one since the last episode is if the match is a no DQ match. So this also includes trios and four-way matches because they are automatically no DQ matches. But for example, a street fight or a death match or whatever, it's basically the purge. Everybody can do what they want. There's no rules involved, so we're just gonna not have any rules either.
Yep.
And I'll let you do the most important one.
Oh, we forgot to do the promos. Promos don't count.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, so promos don't count because, you're supposed to be pissing off your opponent. You're supposed to threaten them. And everyone would get like 1 million years in prison if we counted those. And it would be very boring.
Yeah.
But now...
So I get to the most important one this time. Yeah.
One.
Okay, so the most serious and most important rule is we're just having a bit of a laugh. We're not doing this as anything serious. We don't actually think anybody deserves any sentence in any time in prison or anything.
Wow.
So maybe even Don Callis, he can do all the community service we give him. He should be out there doing all that shit. But we're not cops, we're not lawyers, we're just doing this for a bit of a laugh. We're taking the guidelines we can find online for the UK sentencing because we're from the UK. So if you're in America and it doesn't make much sense, that's probably why.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's pretty much the rules that we go by. Just make everything a bit easy for everybody to understand, to be on the same level. So what we're going to start with Collision, and I'm going to let you do the first one because you promised somebody you'd do this.
Yes, okay, so Ricochet threatened Serpentico with a chair, and Serpentico posted on, I can't remember if it was Twitter or Blue Sky, and I promised him that he would get something done about it, because he was threatened with a weapon. He got scared.
I don't know how this levels like as being unbiased, but if we promise people to get something, if you want, go for it.
Well, if we go once we get onto the assault bit.
Yeah.
Threatening with a weapon counts.
I'm just saying nothing about biases and promising something's going to happen. Like, it sounds like you might be already unbiased when you're saying words like that. But that's all I'm saying.
Okay, so to Serpentico, I didn't actually say promise. I just said that he will get. I can't actually remember the words he said. I'm gonna go find the tweet to get you and put you on blast for this. Like, no, she did say this. Look. I'll be like, this is going to be editor Aaron. Look what she did. Fucking promise him. She. Look, I can't remember the wording. Okay, but I did reply to him saying that we would do something about it.
Yeah. That's the same thing, really. You're just being biased towards Ricochet. Okay,
so we have to go through the levels of assault.
Yeah, so in the UK, there's 3 different types of assaults. If you're a long-time listener to us, you probably know this off by heart. We still have to read it out.
Yeah, we don't know off by heart.
But like I said, there's 3 different types of assault you can commit in the UK, and we're going to go through all 3 of them for you now.
Yep, so common assault, which I'm pretty sure this one is,
is when
a person inflicts violence on someone or makes them think they are going to be attacked. It doesn't have to involve physical violence. Threatening words or raised fist is enough for the crime to have been committed, provided the victim thinks they're going to be attacked.
Yep.
Spitting counts as well.
Then we have ABH, which means actual bodily harm. It means the assault has caused some hurt or injury to the victim. Physical injury does not need to be serious or permanent, but must be more than trifling or transient, which means it must at least cause some sort of injury or pain or discomfort. Psychological harm can be covered by this offence, but this must be more than just a fear or anxiety.
Yep, and then finally we have grievous bodily harm, or GBH, which means the assault has caused serious physical harm. Doesn't have to be permanent or dangerous. For example, a broken bone counts as GBH because sometimes it heals perfectly fine, sometimes it leads to further complications. It can also include psychiatric injury or someone passing on an infection.
Yes, like you said at the start, I think it's going to be common assault. He's threatening them with a weapon, so it's going to count as a common assault. So what we're going to do next is, because it's the first time we're doing a common assault, we're going to go fully through each level of the common assault sentencing guidelines. So first of all, it's going to have the culpability. So this is determining like how much you've done, how much to blame you are. We'll go through to 2 different levels: higher culpability and lesser culpability. So for higher culpability, it is the intention to cause fear or of serious harm, including disease transmission, victim obviously vulnerable due to age, personal characteristics or circumstances, a prolonged or persistent assault, use of substantial force, strangulation, suffocation, asphyxiation, threatened or actual use of a weapon or a weapon equivalent, and a leading role in a group activity.
And then we've got lesser culpability, which is a lesser role in group activity. The offender has a mental disorder or learning disability. It's excessive self-defense and anything else not captured in A.
Yeah, so straight away for that one, there's a couple of factors were under high culpability. He was threatened with use of a weapon, and also his intention to cause fear of serious harm.
Yep.
And so I think it straight away falls into A for him.
Thank God I didn't have to argue that. I was like, I'm going to have to argue that he threatened with a weapon.
No, it was very clear. He had a weapon in his hand. He's threatening with a weapon. There's not any way you can argue anything different on that one for once.
Okay, and then we have to go through the levels of harm. 3 levels here. The first and highest one is more than minor physical or psychological harm. Second is minor physical or psychological harm.
Yep.
And 3 is no/very low level of physical harm. I am going to say it was low. I mean, he posted out that he was like, I can't believe I got threatened because I have hair and you're jealous, or whatever the word
he seemed to be in good faith about it. Not good faith, but like he was in good jokes about it. He stayed stuck around afterwards as well. He's carried on being by the side of Angelico. I totally agree with that. Category 3, I think that falls under. So if we've got a and a 3, that will give him a community order.
And I have been thinking about this.
Again, you're just so mean. You love thinking of these. And it's just like, I come up with them off the cuff. You're just like, I'm going to think about this. I watched that crime. I'm going to give him something.
I know what the sentencing is.
Go on, what are we going to give him?
So you know how in hairdressers you have like the Saturday person who has to sweep up the hair, make all the drinks and all that. He has to do that.
Okay. Yeah.
He has to sweep the hair, see all the hair getting cut off that he doesn't have, that people are willingly getting rid of.
Sticking it to his head.
No, he's not allowed to touch the hair with his hands.
Okay.
He has to sweep it up and put it in the bin.
Okay.
And he also does have to make the drinks and like everything else that like a Saturday person would do, but like that's the punishment bit.
Oh yeah, okay. I think that's a good one for him. Yeah, I like that. Yeah.
So Pentica, what do you think? Okay.
So after he finishes his match, Ricochet gets out of the ring and starts kind of like having a go at Zach Gowen, who's on the other side of the barrier. 3 security guards come over to try and like get him away because obviously he's an audience member. Even though he's a wrestler, you shouldn't be bothering him. And then so he throws one of the security guards into the barricade, one of the steps, and then he gets one in the ring and cuts his hair off. And then Zach Gowen jumps the barrier, which you should never do as a fan. Please don't ever do this. look up the video of what happened to the person that in WWE and got himself, got his head kicked in.
Oh my god!
You don't know about that, do you?
No.
There's like a couple of times having WWE and like the wrestlers just like fully within their rights just batter the guy for it.
I'm pretty sure in AEW the security just kicks you out, but please don't do it.
Yeah. And then Ricochet kicks him in his good leg, which sends him over, and then gives him the spirit gun, and then steals his prosthetic leg, and then runs away with it. So we've got quite a lot of things to break down there for him with that. So let's go through the crimes bit by bit and work out what we think he's got, and then we can go through after that and each bit and sentence him for each one of them.
Mm-hmm.
So for the first 2 security guards, it's going to be, I think, a common assault. He's just throwing them around. He might not even get much more than a community service for that, but we'll have a look when we get that far. For the third one, I had to do a little bit of research into it so that I could see what it counted as, because obviously cutting somebody's hair is going to be a counted assault, but what level of assault would it be? And I found on a lawyer's website that there has been cases before where cutting somebody's hair has counted as ABH, because once it's done, it can cause a negative impact on the person's comfort and confidence. And so they've been able to argue that it counts as an ABH. And I'll get the full thing from the website on down the box there. So we'll be looking at 2 counts of assault, ABH, and then a third count of assault for kicking Zach Gowen, and then the spirit gun in him, and then it's going to be a theft as well, I think, because he stole a leg. He took the poor fucker's leg and mouth with it.
That whole thing made me uncomfortable, but
so let's go through all of that, and then we'll do the 3 common assaults first, because they're all very similar. They're all quite low level. So let's do them 3 together, and then we can go through the ABH and then the theft at the end afterwards. So we've already gone through the definitions of the culpability for it. Looking at it, there's not really much substantial force. Possibly, maybe, I don't know. Overall, it was a prolonged assault, but on each person, it was a very quick assault.
But can you not say that the victim was vulnerable due to age, personal characteristics, or circumstances?
You could for the 2 security guards, and maybe possibly Zach Gowen, because obviously he has got a disability, but he is also a pro wrestler and he has wrestled before.
I know, but now he's supposedly retired, right? For
sentencing, yes, you could obviously argue that for circumstances that he is on to higher culpability for that.
Yeah.
Then, yeah.
So, are we agreeing?
High? Go for A for that one, yeah.
But I don't think it was.
Yeah, I think all of them. Maybe 2, because like the 2 people that were slammed were slammed into metal objects because the barriers and the stairs.
That is very true.
So being security guards that aren't trained to take your bumps, etc., that's going to hurt.
Yep.
And he used his finisher on Zach Gowen. He one of his finishers, because he's also got like a couple of other ones. But he used his finisher on Zach Gowen. So I think minor physical or psychological harm / distress for them. 3 would be a good place for it to fall, I think.
I agree. Yeah. I was going to say, like, for Zach, he was out enough for his leg to be taken. Yeah. So A and 2, I think he's going to get quite a bit of time for this. Yeah, 16 weeks times 3. So now let's go on to the ABH. So first we're going to go through the culpability for ABH, because it's the first time we've done it. Would you want to do the high culpability? Yeah, so high culpability is a significant degree of planning or premeditation. The victim is vulnerable due to their age, personal characteristics or circumstances. There's a use of a highly dangerous weapon or weapon equivalent, strangulation, suffocation or asphyxiation. It's a leading role in group activity, or it's a prolonged and persistent assault.
For medium culpability, use of a weapon or weapon equivalent which does not fall into category A, or a lesser role in a group activity, or any cases that fall between A or C, which is...
No weapon used, excessive self-defense, impulsive and spontaneous, and short-lived, and the offender has a mental disorder or learning disability.
For this one, he's clearly brought the scissors with him.
Yeah.
Right? You don't just...
I have no idea where he was hiding them,
but... He does this every week, I'm telling you. Like, he hides them scissors fucking somewhere, and they just appear out of nowhere. Every time he gets those scissors, he's like, there's no way he's keeping them down as little bullies. There's no way...
That would be scary.
For all the stuff he does, there's no way he's keeping them bully. You're probably not going to keep a pair of scissors in your boot, because that's dangerous as well. He's got to be, like, hiding it in the turnbuckle or something, and we just miss him getting it out every single week. Because every week he... Boop, there's some scissors.
I think he hides it before taping even starts.
Yeah. It'll go in and hide it before the taping. That's what I think as well.
Yeah. But
anyway, there's got to be some.
We digress.
There's got to be some sort of planning going into that because he's pulled the scissors out of fucking nowhere. Obviously, the victim is, as we said before, is vulnerable because he's a security guard, and so I'm not thinking he's using a weapon as well. So I think he does straight away fall under the A.
Yeah. So for harm, there's 3 levels again. For the first one, you've got serious physical injury or serious psychological harm and or substantial impact upon a victim. 2 is anything between 1 and 3. And 3 is some level of psychological injury or psychological harm with limited impact upon victim.
I think it's probably because I don't think he cut off that much, like a little bit from the back of the head as well. It wasn't like the top of the head or the front of the head. I would argue that would probably be category 3, maybe category 2.
I was going to say 3 because I think he got like the ends off before Zach came in.
All he did was neaten up his like, I was about to say bangs, but they're not bangs. The dead ends is the word I was looking for.
Yeah.
He's always done is neaten up the guy's dead ends. Yeah.
Encouraged him to go get a haircut.
So it's going to be A and 3 for that. So that gives him, for cutting somebody's hair,
my God.
1 year and 6 months.
That seems intense, but we're not lawyers.
I love it. Make a bald going away for 1 year and 6 months for cutting hair.
Cutting a tiny little bit. Maybe that'll teach him.
Don't be too jealous of somebody's hair.
Okay, so now we're going to move on to the theft.
Yeah, so he's clearly stolen something off somebody, and so we're going to go for the different levels of culpability for the theft. So,
for culpability, there's 3 levels. High culpability is a leading role where offending is part of a group activity. The involvement of others through coercion, intimidation, or exploitation. There's a breach of a high degree of trust or responsibility. Sophisticated nature of offence / significant planning. Theft involving intimidation or the use of threat of force. And or deliberately targeting victim on basis of vulnerability.
Then B, medium culpability is a significant role where offending is part of a group activity, some degree of planning involved, a breach of some degree of trust or responsibility, and all other cases that fall between A or C.
And C is performed limited function under direction.
Yep.
Involved through coercion, intimidation, or exploitation, little or no planning, limited awareness or understanding of offence.
Yes. I think from them there, I think it falls under A. He was on his own, he was leading role in it. There was threats of, there was use of force for being able to get the theft done. And harm is assessed by what level of impact on the victim or the costs of it, whichever one's higher. So there's 4 different categories for harm on this. Category 1 is a very high value good stolen above 100,000 or higher value is it with significant additional harm to the victim or others. Category 2 is high value goods stolen 10,000 to 100,000 and no significant additional harm or medium value with significant additional harm to the victim or others. Medium value goods stolen 500 to 10,000 and no significant additional harm or lower value with significant additional harm to the victim or others. And category 4 is low value goods stolen up to 500 and little to no significant additional harm to the victim or others. I think it's going to fall straight into category 1 now. Significant harm. Yeah.
It's a high value good. Like that, especially in America.
Yeah,
they're like 300k at least.
I think you're fucking...
At least.
You've got no chance nowadays. I think you're going to be talking 10 to 20k easy. And obviously it's a significant additional harm to the victim and or others because
he needs it.
He needs it to get around,
That's why it made me uncomfortable.
Yeah, but... it'd be like them stealing your wheelchair.
Exactly.
Yeah, so it will be A and 1.
He has 6 years. 6 years. Makes me feel a bit better.
No. Yeah, so he's going to get 6 years in custody for doing that, which is, I think is very fair for what happened. What happened for that is well deserved 6 years.
Yep.
So he's on like just after this one crime spree he had there. He's on nearly like 8 years worth of fucking time.
Yep.
So he should. Then after when he comes out, he's got to go and fucking sweep up hair.
Maybe his hair will have grown.
Yeah, because there's pictures out there of him with long hair, so I don't know whether he's just doing it for the looks or his hair gave up on him.
No, I'm pretty sure he wouldn't be so pissed if his hair had if he was doing it by choice.
That's true. Like, but then my hair's given up on me, and I don't mind. You call me bald all you want.
Yeah. You don't care about it. He clearly loved his hair.
True. Yet to be fair, I never had good hair, so that's probably a good point. I've only had the very basic man cuts all my life until I started going bald. I don't think you've ever actually seen me with hair. Have you really ever seen me bald? Yeah. Okay, anyway, let's carry on. It's going to be one of those episodes because we're tired and we did one yesterday.
Yep.
Okay, so next we're going to discuss what was the next crime. It happened after Anthony Bowens versus Lee Johnson. Blake Christian jumps into the ring to try and sneak attack on Bowens, but Daddy asks, like, nah, lad, you're not doing that. He gets in the way, and Blake, thinking he's fucking clever when he's really not, so he really just walked away, went to go and hit Daddy ass, and Daddy's ass just stopped him, threw him out the ring. I think obviously there was a crime there committed by Blake. He tried to hit Daddy ass, but I think anybody looking at that is going to go, he got what he wanted.
Yeah.
He got what he needed to happen to him. He got thrown out of the ring. I don't think it's any worth giving him any more time or community service over that, I don't think.
Yeah, no, I agree. Yeah. It's just Daddy ass dealt with it.
Yeah.
So next up, we have the Gates call out. I'm going to read this word for word because I love he's stupid sometimes. Okay, so the Gates call out the biggest of bills and the baddest of apples, and then they all fight. No weapons used this time. Biggest of bills pushes the security guard though.
Yeah. So yeah, it's when it's like another. I think it's going to be another fray offence like last time, because like they've all agreed to the fight. It wasn't somebody getting jumped or anything like that.
Yeah.
It's unfortunately for them, they're probably going to get heavily sentenced for it, because the fray rules are generally used against hooligans and that in the UK. So.
Yeah, it's very serious.
Yeah, so last time they got quite a bit of time for it, even though they all agreed to it. So let's go break it down, because it's quite a short and easy one to break down, this one. Mm-hmm. So for culpability, there's 3 levels, A, B and C. For A, targeting of individuals by a group, use of weapons to inflict violence, use of serious or sustained violence, and intention to cause fear or very serious violence.
And then B is threat of violence by any weapon, whether or not produced. Mm-hmm. Threat of or use of violence falling between A and C. Mm-hmm. And then C is threat or use of minimal violence, or the offender acted in self-defense or in fear of violence. I
think, unfortunately for them, again, like last time, I think they all fall under A this time.
Yeah.
It was a sustained violence. They pulled all over the thingy, and the biggest of bills pushed the security guard.
Mm-hmm. Which I think comes into the harm.
Well, what to say, I think that counts as common assault because it's outside of the affray, but because it was only a push, it probably would have been in a community service. Yeah. So I feel like whatever he gets here is going to be enough for it anyway, because he's going to get twatted by some sort of sentencing now.
100%.
So for harm, it's got category 1, serious physical injury to others, serious fear, distress caused. Category 2 is harm falling between 1 or 3. And 3 is little or no physical injury to others, some fear or distress caused. I think it might just fall under 3.
I was going to say 3.
Yeah.
Some fear or distress caused
because
at least the security guard.
And the audience, because like if you think of it as a brawl happening in front of you as you go and watch something, you're going to be a bit scared, aren't you?
Mm-hmm.
And so, and they obviously caused a little or no physical injury to each other.
Yep.
So I think all 4 of them again are going to get hit with an A and a 3, and that will bring them out for a year.
Oh,
that's not too bad.
Got a year.
Yeah, that's not too bad.
I'm pretty sure they were like up to
because the weapons and they were hitting each other. We got them like 2 years, I think, or 1 year last time.
Yeah.
But yeah, 1 year each for that one, I think is fair enough. I think.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
Okay, so during Willow and Stat's match, Marina comes out and she gets in the ring and chokes Willow out with an actual chain.
Yes, crew, it's an actual chain, not a little flimsy pencil fucking chain it barely fits around your neck.
And then she kicks her.
And then gets off, and then Stat wins the match, doesn't she, because of it? Go on.
I think it's common assault.
Yeah, it was.
It's quite high for common assault.
I think it's going to be the highest level of common assault, but it wasn't quite. I don't think it's going to be. It was very hard to determine how much damage was done because Stack got in and did a finisher, but. With her being a wrestler, it was quite a quick choke.
Yeah.
I think it's going to, like you said, fall into common assault.
Like, it was like as soon as she was out,
yeah,
she let go.
Yeah.
Unlike when Joe does it to anyone else.
Yeah, but Joe's Joe. Joe's going to kill you. We're still trying to think of places to hide from him, so if you have any ideas, drop some comments down below, because we need to hide from Joe because of the last episode. If you've not listened, go back and listen to why we're in hiding. I think it's going to be straight away level high culpability because it's 100%. Strangulation, suffocation, or asphyxiation was used.
And a weapon.
Yes. Yeah. So it's going to be A, and I feel like it's going to have to fail 4 in the middle because I can't think we can say it. It's definitely not going to be no, and we can't definitely say it's going to be more.
Yeah.
So I think it's going to fall into category 2 for minor physical harm.
Which gives her 16 weeks custody. Yeah. I can't wait until we're like properly
click them. Yeah.
How long does each person have?
That's my fault for not having a spreadsheet online and thinking it's a great idea just to keep it on a normal spreadsheet on my computer until they went, nah, I'm not opening today. And also TK's fault for having such a big gap between the pay-per-views because I didn't think it was worth starting in the middle of a pay-per-view cycle. So the next crime happens after the tag match between the Dark Order and the Don Callis family. The walking weapon decides it's be funny to kick Alex Reynolds a couple of times, and then he gets Don Callis to go on, it's your turn, lad, go for it. And so Don Callis gets a couple of kicks in as well, and he'll get out the ring and leave him alone. Which, for the Don Callis family is actually quite. I think they're improving. It's an improvement. They've gone normally they kick the fucking shit out of them, down here for Don Callis kicking this.
Yeah.
So, but they've still committed some crimes, so let's see what sentencing we should give them.
Obviously, common assault.
Yeah, it's a couple of kicks. It's going to be a common assault. It wasn't prolonged persistence by either of them. There was no substantial force. You could technically argue that the walking weapon was a leading role in the group activity because he got Don to do it, but even then, I think you're pushing it.
Yeah.
So I think, unfortunately for you, Don Callis is going to dodge sentencing again. Because it's going to be lesser culpability.
Don, we thought you'd learned your lesson.
You might do
Apparently not.
Might do after what we give him. Let's see if I look, because you've been thinking of things and you've had a really good idea on this one.
This one was your one.
This one my one, okay.
Yeah.
Anyway. So then for harm, it's going to be very low harm. Yeah. So I think it's going to be B and 3. Which we know, because we do this all the time for Don Callis, it's going to be a low-level community order. So I thought it was your idea, but apparently it's my idea.
Actually, I think technically it's Taz's idea.
Technically it's Taz's idea because we stole it from him. Yeah. But was it last week or a couple of weeks ago? I can't remember what it was now, because all these times they're getting mixed together. But anyways, at some point in the last couple of weeks, Taz has said that Don Callis couldn't even teach a fish how to swim. There you go. That's what we taught. See, that's why I don't think it's my idea. I think it's your idea because you know all about it. So yeah, Don Callis couldn't teach a fish how to swim. So we've had this idea in the back a couple of weeks now, saying that next time Don Callis gets community service, he's going to have to teach fish how to swim. Yep. We want to see it. And I think we should just chuck the walking weapon in there. He has to go and get in the ring, but they have to do it in full gear. So Don Callis has to get in the water in his suits and his little fucking flimsy little fucking plimsolls, and I like that. And walking weapon's got to go and get in his gear with his helmet thing on and everything. So it's just a bit more inconvenient for them, really. Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Next up we have the main event, where we have, first things first, Cash grabs Danny and cutters him from the apron to the floor. Yep. Which is when Daddy Magic comes out and removes Cash from the arena. Yeah. So I think Daddy Magic was acting in self-defense of for his son. For his son, for Danny. So I don't think once he started hitting them, they were brawling. So I think you could technically argue that maybe it was a bit of a fray or whatever, but I think self-defense. It's self-defense. Yeah. And then for Cash, he drops Danny right on his fucking head. So let's see what he gets. I think it's going to be an assault. I think it doesn't go any higher than a common assault. No, I don't think it goes any higher. With being a head drop, and what we normally do for head drop is used as a substantial force, isn't it? Yeah. So I think it's going to be it's the start of an A. He continued the match, though. He did continue the match. I don't think it's going to be a 3 because it was drop on your head. I think it's going to be a 2 because obviously your head's still going to hurt. Even if you do carry on the match or not, getting drop on your head's going to fuck you up. Yeah. So A and 2. Yep. That will give him 16 weeks. Okay, so next up, FDR Bald pushes Nige pretty hard. He ends up almost on the floor, kind of bangs into the table.
Yep.
And obviously pisses Nige off.
Yes.
Bald gets back into the ring and low blows Danny, which continues to piss off Nige.
Because he doesn't put his headset on, does he? He's standing there fuming the whole time.
Like, I've got to be a professional. And the whole time Tony's like, put your headset back on. Put it fucking back on.
Get back.
Sit your ass down. So he comes in and he uppercut stacks. Cash then comes out and tries to hit Nige, but he gets arm dragged instead. And then Daddy Magic comes back out and clothesline Cash out of the ring. Yeah,
I mean, basically, between the three of them in some formation, they clear the ring and they stand kind of like victorious at the end.
Yep.
So, I think for the push, FDR Bald might get a common assault. It was a light push, but like it was. I mean, it wasn't a light push. It was quite a heavy push.
It was a heavy push.
And we gave Stoke a common assault for the push he did last time. So if we're going to give it to Stoke for that push, this one was more damaging, shall we say? So
yeah, I agree.
If Stoke's going to get something for it, I think Cash should get something for that. So. I can't remember what we gave Stoke, but I think it was lesser culpability because it was just a push, and so looking at them now,
I am gonna say lesser culpability for this.
And for harm, I think it's gonna be very low level.
Yeah.
Even though we did bang him into a table, he's a wrestler. He's an ex-wrestler. He's a hard man. I think he'll be all right.
Yeah.
I think if we gave him any higher than that, Nige would come after us. I'll be honest.
Yeah, and you don't want to piss off a lad.
So B and 3 is a low-level community order. So what are we thinking about Bald for a low-level community order?
Well, yesterday we gave Stoke a morals course.
Yes, we did. Yes.
What if he has to join him?
Yeah, I think that's fair. They're being bastards as a group. Let's go and let's get them all to go and work together and learn how to have better morals. Yes. Okay. So
in terms of the low blow.
Yes. Again, I think that's straight away an assault. I think it's going to count as substantial force because you're hitting somebody in the balls. You proper went for it.
Yeah.
Have you learned your lesson not to argue with a category 2?
My boobs have told me we have learned our lesson. So, every week it's like, no, please no, please no.
You might actually do it. So A and 2 for this then?
Yeah.
Yeah. No arguments this time.
No arguments this time. A and 2. He's getting 16 weeks custody.
He's getting 16 weeks custody for it.
Yeah.
I think that's quite actually. So now I think the only thing left to argue, because I think Daddy Magic and Cash kind of was like self-defending their other paths. I think Nige went a bit further than self-defense because Cash had definitely left him alone for quite a while because he's just there fuming.
Yes, but he didn't come into the ring until after the low blow, which could be counted as self-defense for Danny.
You could actually do that, yes. I think I might actually agree with that. I think, yeah.
So I think if he didn't get low blowed, I think Nige would have continued fuming. He wouldn't have put his headset back on.
Yeah.
But I don't think he would have come in.
No, I totally agree. I think any good lawyer, which is not Mark Sterling, basically, could come in and argue that the only reason he went into the ring was because Danny Garcia has been illegally attacked and he was in there to defend him, and all he was doing was defending himself from Cash when Cash came in. So I totally agree with you on that one. Yeah.
But heads up, Nige, if you do actually do a crime that needs community service, I have an amazing one for you.
She has been thinking about this since yesterday, just in case we have one, and it's really good. But keep tuning in, and we might actually let you hear it if he does something worthwhile. Okay, so before we stop, we are quite a while, so we're not going to do any other stuff this week. I think it's already on 40 odd minutes.
Yeah, but I have something fun to say, so hopefully next week's short so I can talk about it, because he doesn't even know yet.
Because mostly it's fucking because we're tired, because we had to do yesterday's one and all sorts of other stuff. And it's the cat's birthday, so we're going to go and enjoy the birthday with the cat.
Yeah.
But before we go, thank you very much for listening. Again, as always, if you can leave a like and leave a comment telling us where we should hide away from Joe, they both really help us out. More engagement on the video means we get more views on the video eventually, and means we can carry on doing this and have more of a laugh. But anyway, thank you very much for listening, and we will see you soon.
See you sometime next week.
Bye.
Bye.